and Happy New Year! It is 5 o'clock Atlantic time on New Year's Eve, and today I'm going to do a video here in between classes. I had a class at 2:30 Eastern time this morning, so the desperate things that I need to do to hit more classes for this month, which I know you can relate to as a teacher. And I'm not going to hit my 129 goal that I mentioned from 29 in November to 129 in December, but I'm hitting 125, which I am happy with for that part. But I will hashtag thanks Trudeau on that, which I don't know if you followed it in the media, but if you remember back a few years ago, what was popular was hashtag Obama, thank you Obama, which was basically to say, oh, my sprinkles fell off my cupcake, hashtag thanks Obama. So it's just one of those things where you blame Obama or Trudeau for everything negative that happens, even though of course they have no impact on it whatsoever. So I will blame my lack of classes this month for not hitting my goal on hashtag thanks Trudeau. And if you know me personally, you know that I have a pretty strong distaste for our Prime Minister, which is Prime Minister Trudeau. So let me go into a little different angle this morning, and I want to read you a quote from a famous American. And it will take me a couple of minutes here, but read this. This is the best motivational speech I have ever heard. I want to see if you can guess which famous American wrote this, or at least said this. They may not have wrote it, but they at least did say it. So let me read this quote for you. And I will read it verbatim and see what you think. So it goes, years from now, some of them may look back and ask themselves whether they made the right choice, whether they've made the most of the opportunities they have been given. Together we have the same mission. Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. But you have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never, ever, ever give up. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right. Nothing worth doing is ever, ever, ever will come easy. And the more righteous your fight, the more opposition that you will face. In your hearts are inscribed the values of service, sacrifice, and devotion. Now you must go forth into the world and turn your hopes and dreams into action. America has always been the land of dreams, because America is a nation of true believers. When the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, they prayed. When the founders wrote the Declaration of Independence, they invoked our Creator 4 times. Because in America, we don't worship government, we worship God. It is why our currency proudly declares, "In God we trust." And it is why we proudly proclaim that we are one nation under God. The story of America is the story of an adventure that began with deep faith, big dreams, and humble beginnings. The next generation of American leaders never, ever give up. There will be times in your life you will want to quit. Never quit. Never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you. Carry yourself with dignity and pride. Demand the best from yourself. The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward. and always have the courage to be yourself. America is better when people put their faith into action. Pray to God and follow His teachings. Today, each of you begins a new chapter as well. When your story goes from here, it will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. You will build a future where we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and express the love that stirs in your souls. As long as you have pride in your beliefs, courage in your convictions, faith in God, then you will not fail. As long as America remains true to its values, loyal to its citizens, and devoted to its Creator, then our best days are yet to come. That is one of the best inspirational, motivational speeches I have ever heard, seen. Who said that? Who do you think said that? They may not have been the one that wrote it, and you'll see why I say that in a second, but they communicated this. I will first say that our Prime Minister, Trudeau, would never in 100 million years ever read that. Why? Because it mentions God in there over and over again. He would not get caught dead saying God. Ever acknowledging God as our Creator. He wouldn't. There's no way he would get caught dead. And if he did say it, it would be from an angle of someone coaxed him to say that. So it wasn't, obviously, I mentioned off the start, this is an American, so it's not our Prime Minister. So I will maybe leave Prime Minister Trudeau at the door for a second. So who said that? And the author or the communicator of that was a Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump wrote, or at least communicated, that speech back in 2017. And again, you may have a negative view on Donald Trump. He's a very polarizing individual. My point is, our Prime Minister would never ever say that. And you may say, well, Donald Trump, someone wrote for him and he just said it. Well, that may be true. And maybe he doesn't believe everything that's said there. But he's at least willing to read this extremely motivational speech that acknowledges God as our Creator over and over and over again. And I give him props for that. I do. I give him total props for that. I wish our Prime Minister would have the courage to say something like that. And you may say, well, Donald Trump is just doing that to get votes. And that's very possible. That's very, very possible. But my point is, even for our Prime Minister Trudeau, he would never, ever read that, whether it was to get votes or not. So I leave that with you, that motivational speech. It speaks such power. Just in terms of never ever giving up. And sometimes, and going back to maybe VIPKID, we face some of this stuff because we are faced with a lot of uncertainty. Sometimes we are faced with a lot of doubters that question why we are doing certain things. And life in general throws us stuff where we get knocked down. You will get knocked down. There's no question. It's just a matter of when, how often, and how are you going to respond. So that speech really puts into perspective, really gives you a good boost in the right direction here as we start 2020. All the best in your teaching, and Happy New Year. Be thankful. Happy New Year. 2020 is ahead. It's going to be a good year. Let's go out and make it a good year from our perspective starting off. So, Happy New Year. Bye.